And it's always live. It's good. Hey guys,
Awesome.
Chris Pesek, broker associate, Dripping Springs home team, and I've got a flashing light for some reason, and I'm not sure why. It looks like I've got plenty of juice, so we're just gonna roll with it. Oh shoot, nope. Yeah, it's good. Sorry, I thought I had something else going on. Hey, it's Friday morning, and it is like 11 o'clock, so I'm still waking up.
Hey, me too.
Here on the 15th day of the 12 days of Dripping Springs Christmas at Fitzhugh Brewing with brewmaster extraordinaire, Nate. Nate, man, thanks.
Hey, happy to be here. Always happy to be here.
Yeah, always get excited when I get to come by here and check it out because, yeah, we'll get into the beers in a little bit. Like I always do on these things, guys, we're out just trying to get you exposed to the local businesses in the company, local business owners, and give you a reason. You know, look, I know there's a ton of craft beer in the world at this point, which is an amazing thing for people like me, people like you, but you don't need to buy your craft beer from Specs or Twin Liquor or H-E-B when you've got places like Fitzhugh Brewing right down the road from you. And that's one of the things that we're blessed with in Dripping Springs is a lot of good beer.
Absolutely.
So I want to just kind of get kicked off. Nate, tell us where you guys are located and tell us a little bit about how you got connected, you know, with Kirby, with Fitzhugh, and kind of how all that started.
Sure. Yeah. So we are on Fitzhugh Road. No truth in advertising there.
Literally.
Yeah. Fitzhugh Brewing on Fitzhugh Road. Yeah, I got really lucky meeting Kirby and her father, Dub. He is a land developer, and she just has a really good eye for build out and spaces and things like that. And they kind of adopted me on as their brewer. Nice. And we've been building this place, or we were building this place for, man, almost 3 years before we finally got to open our doors. And we just celebrated our 2nd anniversary back in October. And we just hit the ground running and haven't stopped since then. We've been super, super excited to be a part of the community and just be here in Dripping and do the fun things we get to do and get to have people come in and enjoy what we're making. So,
and I know I do.
Yeah.
we'll go in that direction. One of the things that I love about what you do is you do the traditional beers. Mm-hmm. Like people can find a Pilsner, they can find IPAs, they can find the stuff, you know, lagers, things that they are used to drinking and that they want to drink. Yep. But you kind of have turned things on their head a little bit out here. You also are bringing in beers that nobody has heard of.
I try. Well, one of the things that happens because we have so many choices that you kind of have to make yourself stand out just a little bit. And what I was always interested in as a brewer was historic beers from history, beers from around the world, mm-hmm. beers that, you know, maybe got a little bit lost in the wayside. Every once in a while, a style comes up that gained some popularity that was really old. But, you know, I've done beers from all over the world. I've done beers from as far back as 8,000 BC. I mean, just there's some really cool brewing history out there that's kind of this sort of underexplored territory that if I can bring flavors to your glass you've never been able to experience before, right. I'm happy to do that. One of my favorite things to hear people say when they come in is like, I've never tasted anything like that. And 100% understand that it may not be completely your bag. You may want to go back to that IPA that you love, and that's why we have one on tap. You may just feel like, man, I just need a blonde ale today. We've got that on tap. Just brewed up our red, which everybody really likes. I've got the ingredients for our Kolsch. So, you know, we have our mainstays that are like, I just want a beer. We got it. But I also have a Latvian beer that I just brewed a couple days ago that doesn't have any hops in it at all. It's made with wormwood, which is the flavoring they use.
That's a lot of heavy oil.
And absinthe. Yeah. Crazy stuff. And catnip. Sounds weird, tastes great. So you ever want to try a beer with catnip in it, we got you covered.
And you know I'm gonna have to try it.
Oh, like, yeah, no, it's good stuff. It's good stuff.
Okay, I'm gonna nerd out a little bit.
Sure.
You said it's not brewed with hops.
Yep.
So what I've been told is that that's kind of what a Goza is. So is it that, or is it just something totally different?
It's a Gruit.
It's a Gruit, okay.
Gruit, yeah. So Gruit, back in the day, when everybody was brewing, they didn't have hops. I mean, hops are a relatively modern addition to beers. And so they had whatever was sort of available to them. So Gruits, Gruit, are a style of beer that just doesn't use any hops. They use local botanicals. Okay. And I know our neighbors up the road in Beerburg do some really cool stuff with harvested things that they get off their land. Totally awesome. But that's a style that I feel is sort of underrepresented. And when you start getting into that historic and regional aspect of beer, a lot of it comes to like, well, we brewed with what was local to us. And the things that were local in Latvia at the time were you know, wormwood and catnip. So
and that makes a ton of sense. And I never really drew that connection before. I mean, a lot of, you know, going back to the area. I mean, I grew up in Shiner beer, right?
Absolutely.
And it's still, I think, one of the it brews with so much corn, because that's what was grown in the area. That's what the farmers had. And I never really made that connection before. And yeah, you mentioned Trevor up at Beerberg. And yeah, he's done some interesting things with right there off of the land right here in the Texas Hill Country.
Yeah, and he's doing some really cool, like, modern takes on styles that are like hyper local to here. I'm kind of taking that idea, but I'm stealing the sort of what they had in that particular region to bring a Latvian beer. He's doing some really cool hyper local Texas stuff. I'm getting like, all right,
but you're grabbing that stuff from out there.
Yeah,
I want to know what that tastes like.
Yeah. And that's kind of the, like I said, that's sort of been the area that we've really just tried to grow into and expand. Because we're doing all kinds of really cool regional and historic beers. I'm actually I'm super geeked out on. It probably won't be available until maybe February next year, just because I have to get everything in line for it. Is I've actually been in communication with a linguistics professor at the University of Colorado, and his area of expertise is ancient Iberian culture in Spain. So like pre-Roman Empire, like way back, they used to brew this beverage called kalia, which kalia, kind of, you go etymologically with the word kale, ale. It's like you start seeing like where all this history comes from. But it was a fermented wheat beverage that they used to drink before they got themselves all pumped up to go into battle. It was kind of their like rage juice.
Nice.
I'm not going to make anything quite that crazy, but in talking to him, I've got a sense of what they used to make the beer, kind of how that might have tasted and turned out. And so I've got some ideas for what we're going to do it there. That's going to have some fresh rosemary in it, which is going to be, you know, again, another kind of herbal thing.
Yeah.
But all stuff that's sort of local to that Mediterranean Spanish region. And as close as I can approximate a recreation of what they might have been trying. So
guys, look, this is the reason we want to talk to people like this. I mean, what you guys at Fitzhugh are doing is really, really special for Dripping Springs, because I may have been to, I don't know, 2 or 3 breweries in my lifetime. And I've never seen anything like this. I've never seen people bringing in these beers and doing that. So when I tell you guys, locally it's better. It's literally better locally, because I've been all over the place to breweries and I've never seen anything like this. So, you know, take advantage of what you got here. You know, get your butts out here, because Nate's really, really, really good at what he does in brewing beer. And I've compared it to a couple of beers. You know, I've got a little experience, we'll say that. So talking about, you know, and it's a terrible transition, but okay, the different types of beers that you're bringing in.
Yeah.
You also are big on trying to do seasonal beers.
Oh yeah.
And that's hard to find now, because, you know, seasonal beers kind of can stay around a little bit, because not everybody wants to drink seasonally. But for people like me who love it, talk about what you've got going on, you know, what you got on tap and in your bright, shiny tanks.
Sure. Yeah. Well, every year, like the one big seasonal thing we try to do is I always try to have a Christmas beer. I mean, always. We've been open 2 years, but the last year and this year we've had, and it's going to be what I plan to do moving forward. And you can sort of keep up with that seasonality and still draw in the things that inspire us and kind of like help us guide where we want to brew. So what we did this year is we've got a beer called Christmas Bonus, because everybody loves National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Absolutely.
It's like, you're not getting your bonus this year, Clark, but we've got it here. So what we did is we actually based this style of beer on a Swedish mulled wine called Glögg, Glogg. But I don't usually throw, I say this, I don't usually throw weird stuff in the beer. I do. I throw weird stuff in the beer all the time. But this is kind of more traditionally weird in that it's got sweet orange peel, which gives it a really nice citrus kick. Yeah. It's got some cranberries in it. And it's just a little hint of cinnamon. So it kind of mimics this Glögg, which is a mulled wine. You know, you got like glue wine out of Germany. Yeah. You got like all these really cool mulled wines. We wanted to make a beer that sort of emulated that. So the cool thing about this is you get it and you drink it when it's cold, fresh off the tap. You're going to get some flavors, but you let it sit and just warm up in your hands. You don't want to drink it warm. I
was just going to ask what temperature you're serving it at, because that's what I was thinking.
Anywhere between 37 and 50, you're going to get some cool stuff. I wouldn't go too much warmer than that. It's still going to taste good, but it's going to be warm beer. Yeah. You know, you kind of have to be in the right mood for warm beer. So, but yeah, that's one cool seasonal thing we've got going on. We got some really fun things coming up for Spring is actually a really big time to have seasonal. People think seasonal beers. They think like, oh, I want a stout in winter. I want, you know, like a blonde ale in the summer.
Right.
I want a summer beer. Spring was a really big time. So there's a style called a bière de garde, which was like a beer for holding. And they would brew it in the spring, and it would be available like later on in the year. So I'm going to brew that in the spring, and we're going to do all kinds of different things. But yes, brewing traditionally was a very seasonal thing because of temperature.
Yeah.
You know, here I've got all the shiny tanks that can like control.
You're not gonna brew a lager in the summer.
Exactly.
It's not
just,
happening.
you can't ferment at the right temperatures. But also speaking of seasonality, like and being part of the community, one of the really neat things that we were involved with this year was I don't know if you made it down to the Dripping Springs Pumpkin Patch.
I didn't.
Well, it was one of the sort of the highlights of the fall, I think, around here. So many people went down there. It was a really big event. You got to check it out next time.
Okay.
Super cool. But we poured a lot of beer there and had a really great interaction with a lot of the folks in the community. And they bought more beer than we were expecting them to buy, which, please, you can buy all the beer. I'm happy to make as much beer as you want to drink. But one of the cool things that we did with that is that we were able to do a little bit of expansion. And for us, expansion has always been about smart, intelligent growth. We don't want to grow just for the sake of growing. But if the demand is out there, we're going to like grow to meet that demand. So talking about shiny tanks, this new one we have behind here, I brew in 7-barrel batches. That's about 215 gallons at a time. I've always brewed the blonde ale as double. So I'll do 14 barrels, so about 440 gallons at a time. All of our beer is served off of these serving tanks. It doesn't ever really go into kegs unless we're taking it somewhere.
I forgot to talk about that because that's a really cool thing.
Oh, it's a lot of fun. It keeps the beer fresh.
Yep.
It makes it so like really the only place you can get our beer is here. It's going to be the best case scenario for that beer. You're going to have the best experience in your glass. But what we did is we got one more 15-barrel serving tank. We already have one, and that's what our blonde ale goes in. But now we have the capacity to double batch our hazy IPA. Those are our two most popular beers. So those will always be on. We won't ever run out because we've been able to increase our capacity a little bit. But we're not going to get rid of our 7-barrel tank that it's replacing. That one's going to come back, and it's going to kind of be my staging area. So I'll always be able to have another beer on tap. So it's just is going to give us the capacity to move forward and have like all these beers available without any break. And every once in a while we only have 7 beers on tap because something kicked, then I can't move it on the next weekend. We shouldn't run into that situation anymore, and we're always going to have these offerings for the folks that come out and want to drink our beer.
That's awesome. Oh God, I just completely lost my train of thought.
Oh.
Anyway, well, what I was going to mention is my wife will be happy that you're going to be able to keep Warped Window.
Oh, yeah. Warped Window is, you know, it's been kind of the sleeper hit for us. I brewed a West Coast IPA when we opened because when I was coming up in the beer world, like West Coast were where at. But, you know, you got to understand what people want. And it's like, oh, man, I love this West Coast. But when are you going to make it hazy? It's like, I could do that. And it's become one of our more popular beers. And one of the things we're really focusing on this year is last year was all about collaborations. We actually did 3 different collaborations. We did one with Ghost Note Brewing, just up the road in Wimberley. Really cool saison with Tyrell out there. Love those guys. We did one with Red Horn Brewing, which is still on tap briefly. It's going to pop real quick if you want to come try it. With Red Horn Brewing called Seis Banderas, which Zach Gardner is the head brewer out there. And he had this really cool idea to brew a beer that had ingredients that represented every flag that's flown over the state of Texas.
Oh, cool. 6 Flags. I got you.
Yeah. Seis Banderas, 6 Flags. So that beer we did a really cool thing with. It's kind of a pale ale. That was an awesome collaboration with Zach. Because we're brew relatively smaller batches and kind of have a quicker turnaround, we can do some fun experimental stuff like that. And then we brewed a collaboration with, you ever heard of Craft Pride? The beer bar out in Austin. Well, they had to close their location in Austin, but they're actually going to open up here in Dripping in the next couple of years.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. I hope I'm not like
you spilled the beans, man. Dude, it's live. You're not taking it back.
You got some exclusiveness here. No, I think that she's announced that they're doing that. But what they did is they did a collaboration with several of the breweries here in the location because they're going to be in Dripping. They wanted to be like good neighbors and good stewards, and so Acapon did a collaboration with them. We did a collaboration with them. Ghost Note did. So like all these cool spots, they did collaborations with them. And we did an Icelandic style of beer that was on for a while. That one just kicked. Sorry you missed out on that.
I had that, and it was damn good.
Yeah. A nice kind of brown rye ale with parsnips. Crazy, but a lot of fun.
Yeah, when you told me the parsnips, I was like, what? Come on, man.
So last year was collaboration focused, and we're always down for collaborations. We're hoping to do some more. But this next year, we really want to get our beer out there, and for me, it's a good measure of where I'm at as a brewer. I feel like I'm a competent brewer. I can make good beer. I think that you're going to enjoy what you come in here. But sometimes, not that you need outside validation, but you want to have that sort of checks against other people's palates. And so we're going to enter a few competitions this year, and we're fingers crossed. Not about the awards at all, but you always get judged by beer judge certified people. And so I'm going to get some feedback on my beer. We entered a couple competitions last year and actually made some changes to my technique just to kind of like help refine everything. Because right now
they're
it's
trained
all
on the esters and like the off flavors. And,
absolutely. And I don't ever want there to be any off flavors in my beer, but anything that I can do to kind of like just nail that last little bit to take it from like, this beer is great to this beer is amazing. You know, I want to always have amazing stuff on tap if I can get it. So
very cool.
Yeah. So, you know, lots of fun things. We're going to be hosting more events this year. We're going to be doing all kinds of fun, sort of things outside in our beer garden. We're actually doing a little bit of expansion so we can better invite, you know, like large groups to come in, and they can kind of have, we're going to think about doing an adults only space. Cause like we love our kids. We love our families that come in and enjoy the spot. That's why we built our playscape. You got cool stuff on the kids menu, but you know, we get it. Sometimes you want to come sit down, have a beer and not have a bunch of kids running around. We're going to focus on building a spot out there just for adults to kind of hang out, maybe have some fire pits so the kids won't, you know, burn themselves. Yeah. But you know, just kind of fun things to make this a place that everybody wants to come to and is going to have a good time.
Right. Awesome. And so, and you mentioned it, let's shift gears just a little bit. Y'all are rolling out something new today. So I want to talk a little bit about your new chef, because, you know, we did date night here, and I've known Andrew from, you know, before he got here.
For sure.
Phenomenal food.
Oh yeah.
And so talk a little bit about what y'all are rolling out today at noon. Guys, you've got 45 minutes to get here, but I guess it'll go carry on.
Yeah. We're doing lunch, which, you know, everybody in the service industry has been having problems with staff, but you know, we're going to just overcome those problems. We want to be open because the demand's been there, and we'd love to invite you out to come have lunch. We're rolling out Fridays sort of permanently moving forward. And if that's successful, we'll start doing like Wednesday, Thursday, we'll be open a little bit more. Cause you know, it's Andrew is phenomenal. We've been so happy with everything he's made. He's rolling out some amazing specials. He did a Philly cheesesteak last week that was like, oh man, it was fantastic. And then, and on Wednesday, what's today, Friday? Yeah, on Wednesday we had the first beer dinner we've had in a while, which is our paired food and beer. You know, you come in, you get to have a 4-course meal. We pair beers with each one, and he absolutely knocked it out of the park. One of the best beef Wellingtons I've ever had. So,
really?
Yeah. So keep an eye out for that too. We always announce like those things we try to do quarterly. We announce it a long time. It's super limited ticketed event, but everybody who comes in has a great time. So yeah, we figured like gonna let him loose on the lunch menu. He's gonna have a good time there. We're gonna really hope that brings some people in and gives them more options because you know a lot of people work out here. We want to give them some spots to eat lunch.
Absolutely.
And, you know, we'd love to be part of that.
And I mean, being out here on Fitzhugh, not everybody wants to go all the way into Drip. You know.
Exactly.
So
yeah. There's so many businesses out here. We love
more options in the Fitzhugh district. The better.
Yep. Absolutely.
All right. So talk a little bit about New Year's Day as well.
Yeah, so on that same sort of area, we are going to be open New Year's Day for brunch. Andrew is rolling out a really traditional, straightforward. You want to come have brunch on New Year's Day? This is the place to do it. We're going to do bacon, eggs, pancakes, all the we'll have some mimosa specials with our cider. Of course, you can have the beer. We always try to have a lot of fun things going on. But yeah, brunch on New Year's Day. Fitzhugh is going to be the place to be. You know, come in with the family and just sort of hang out. We open from don't quote me on this, 10 to 3, I believe.
I think that's what Kirby said.
Yeah. So Kirby handles all that stuff. I just come back here and make the beer. So, but yeah, that's going to be awesome. We're excited to, you know, so many people come into Dripping Springs and in this area. This is a cool vacation spot. People are going to be here. People have their families here, and sometimes they just want to I don't want to cook anymore. We've been cooking all holiday. Let's just come in and have a nice brunch, and hopefully this will be the place that they want to come do that.
And I'm going to give you some recommendations. First of all, if you had too much to drink the night before, you can run by Regenerate and get a vitamin IV drip. That's the first thing you can do. But second, they always talk about it, hair of the dog, right?
Absolutely.
Get out here, get you another beer first thing in the morning, get you some greasy eggs and bacon. It won't be greasy, but that's just my way of saying it. Get you some eggs, get you some bacon, some pancakes to soak that up, probably some English muffins, biscuits, things like that.
Yeah, I bet you there might be some hash browns floating around.
I'm going to tell you, that's the way you get over New Year's Eve. That's just the way it's done.
Absolutely.
And then I'm going to give you 2 recommendations. Dark beer is kind of like coffee. So you can, you know, that makes sense for breakfast. And then your hazy IPA has got a little bit of orange note in it because that could be your orange juice.
Yep.
I mean, look, it's made for brunch.
All part of a balanced breakfast.
Absolutely, without a doubt. This, like I said, I may have some experience.
Yeah. You know, we've all been there. We've all been there.
Oh, and guys, just kind of remind you, you know, we've got what, about 7 days left before Christmas, I think, 7 or 8,
Yeah,
something like
quick.
that, 8 days.
Yeah.
Couple of things. You can always come by, grab merch, grab gift cards,
Yep.
stuff like that. You know, growlers.
Yeah. If you've got family in town and they haven't, bring them in, but you know, pick up some beer while you're here, have it at the house, have something for Christmas dinner or whatever. We've got some great things that we pair for. That Christmas bonus is like probably the best sitting by the fire dessert beer we've had for a long time. So
it was a little early for me to start before we did this, but when I'm done, I'm probably going to go have a little taste of that.
for sure.
And the other thing, you got family in town, you don't want to cook because nobody freaking wants to cook. Bring them out. What are y'all's hours like through the weekend and next week?
Oh yeah, so we're closed Christmas Day. We've got all of our hours posted everywhere. So again, I'm not the guy to 100% ask on this, but check our website, check our Instagram, check our socials. All of our hours are going to be posted. We're going to have some food specials. We're doing cornbread and baked beans.
Man.
We had some mushroom risotto croquettes yesterday. So we've always got some fun specials going on. But even if you don't want a special, you have not had a chicken sandwich better than Andrew's Texas hot chicken sandwich. That thing will change your life. It is so good. So yeah, bring the family out, have some, you know, if the kids are getting a little restless sitting around the house and waiting for Santa, have them come out and burn off some of that energy on the playscape. Like we'll have all kinds of options for you. So we'd love to have you out.
And nobody wants to sit around and look at their in-laws in the house all the time. So it's like getting out and you get out in the open air and the weather's beautiful.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh yeah. So it's time to get your in-laws out of the house and, you know,
yeah,
enjoy Dripping Springs.
Yep. Dripping Springs has a lot to offer. And we're, like I said before, we're so happy to be part of the community. We'd love to have you come out and, you know, bring your out of town folks, come back, have a good time.
That's it. All right, guys, going to wrap it up with that. Again, like I always say, the reason behind this is to introduce you to people like Nate. Kirby does not like to be in front of the camera. She was on last year. I don't know if you know that.
Oh, was she?
Oh, she was completely nervous. It was crazy.
Yeah.
She does not want to be on the camera, but you know, people here locally doing awesome things with local businesses. And like I always say, put your money where your butt lives. If you've never been out to Fitzhugh Brewing and you like beer and you like good food, or you like good food, either way, but especially if you like beer, get out to Fitzhugh. They've got really, really great beer and some things you probably haven't tried. So
yeah, we'd love to have you.
All right, man. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Hey, thank you.